Hi everyone. I'm right on time. I even tested my system and had Zoom install updates, and I even launched a Zoom, and I was like, okay, I'm all good. And then I went to start this meeting and it's like, updating Zoom. And I'm like, well, I thought I already did that. So sorry,
I'll teach you.
just a little late, later than usual, not late. But we'll get started in a little while. I've some lots of stuff to show, and it's very exciting. We just had a big release just a few weeks ago. For actually right before Learn Lab Summer School and Icicle kicked off last week. So um, had some time to play with the new features, and I'm excited to show you guys. So welcome everyone.
Hi, Erin.
Hi Lauren, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
I'm doing really well.
Good.
Glad it's Friday.
Yes, everyone is glad it's Friday.
Yeah, I'm always happy to have these on a Friday. It's nice. It's like see all these great smiling faces before the weekend.
Monday is a sad meeting day.
It is. I used to have no meetings on Mondays and it was really great. I'd like ease into the week, but I don't have the time to preserve those days anymore. It's no meeting days. Yeah, we'll give some time, folks, time to get into the room. We'll get started in about 3 minutes. Yeah, cool, Kevin. Kelvin, sorry. Good idea. Everybody has those AI bots now taking meeting notes for them. It's really helpful. So I saw a few more people join. We're just going to wait about 2 more minutes. I think it'll be really fun to see what Torus is looking like these days, right?
Yes.
Yeah, by the way, at the same time that this meeting is going on, Norm is in Seattle giving a big demo to the Gates Foundation. So a lot of what I'm going to be showing you today is some of the work they've prepared for that demo. So I was lucky in that I get to reuse some of that stuff. They've created some fun videos. I'm not going to show you the whole video. I'm just going to walk through Torus itself, but I have the advantage of using a course section that has data in it. And then at the end, I have a video of what's to come, some new UX designs that will be rolling out probably with the next release. So this is going to be a fun meeting. My lips were dry. Wait just another minute and we'll get started. Okay, let's get going. Welcome everybody to the Torus community meeting in August. I'm Erin Stawinski. I lead learning engineering efforts for the Open Learning Initiative, as well as playing product manager to the larger EdTech ecosystem here at CMU. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you here today as I'm going to be showing off the latest look and feel and functionality of Torus. And we had a release just on, I believe it was the 20th, not last week, but right before the last week. And some of you might have seen some of these features already, but I'm going to go through them and and point out some things that were in that last release. And then at the end, I'll show you a video of what's to come, some new UX designs that we have in the works. So I'll share my screen and just dive right in. So I've already entered here as an instructor. I've logged in as an instructor, and I'm going to I'm going to create a new course section. I'm going to show you that, some of the new features of that section creation, and then I'm going to jump into a view of a course that's already been created and has data in it. But I wanted to show you some of the new scheduling features. So this is, as an instructor, I'm going to create a new section. And I'm going to do a search here. I know what I'm looking for. Real Chem. Course name is, I'm going to call it Aaron's Real. We're calling this Real Chemistry. It's a kind of like a branding of our chemistry efforts that we're working on for the Gates Foundation, where we're creating an exemplar chemistry course that really hones in on diversity, equity, inclusion, and supports those efforts. So this won't be the first course that we do this to. Once we create Real Chemistry, we'll be creating other real products, as you can imagine, real physics, real statistics, possibly. We don't have plans for that yet, but it's just starting that kind of product brand. This course section number is for those, so for teachers who have a naming convention in their own university or institution, they can use that name as well. And I'm going to go ahead and say the class meets both in person and online. What this does is helps the beginning of taking us into the scheduler that will help us like schedule out our materials. So this is these are all points that get, not points, they're characteristics of the course section that I'll be building. And some of these first questions helps the system kind of start to lay out a schedule for you. So I'm going to say that the course meets on Tuesday and Thursday. I'm going to put in today as a date. It starts, and we'll say it goes through, December. And I'm just going to go ahead and create that section. And so then it drops me into a place where I can do some management of this section. And I'm going to jump right over to one that's already created and has students in it. So they can show you a little bit of how the scheduling is handled. So what those first few questions helps create is this initial view of the course, all of the units and modules kind of scheduled out for you given the number of weeks that you have, and you can easily move these around. So I can move these and it will change anything that's dependent on it as well. It'll move all of the like, so if I move a unit, it'll move all of the dates of that particular of all the pages underneath it. So what this drives is some things, some reminders to students. It drives reminders to the instructor about what's coming and what to look for next. But let me go back to, I want to just start here with this overview. So this again, just it says student, but I'm actually in here as an instructor. Student doesn't have all of these. It's actually very clean for a student. They don't have all these tabs here to manage the course section itself, but they're just dropped right into the content. And we'll have like reminders and things about when things are due. So you'll have to forgive me. I'm going to be moving this Zoom window around a bunch. So from here, I can go into any of the content. I can scroll to different units and open these as an instructor, which will show me not only the pages that the students see, but the instructor view is also gives you more of, for every activity on the page, it'll show you the hints and the feedback and all of that. That's why it's an instructor view. I'm not going to go into that because we have a lot of other things to show. So scored activities are all here. So again, based on due dates, it gives you, these are all the assessments in the course, and it can give you what the average score from all the students are, like how the students as a whole are doing in this assessment, how many attempts have been made by students, and the percentage completion for students. So that's a nice place for instructors to go and see where students are working, if they're doing the things that they need to be doing. This recommended actions, again, is driven by the schedule. So it's telling me I should maybe remind students of deadlines, because I'm assuming because some deadlines have already passed and not all students have completed them. So this gives you some recommended actions depending on actually what's going on in the course itself, in the course section. Reports allow you to see how students are completing, what their rate of completion is, and what their proficiency is. This is basically how they're doing in the work that they have completed. So this tells me, in Foundation Unit 1, 9% of the students have completed that, and with a medium proficiency. So meaning they're probably not getting all to correctness, and maybe there's some things in there I could dig into and address. I can also look at this by student view. So I can see, and by the way, these are not real students. These are just folks who've been in here to, you can see Norman Beer, student 5, been in here to populate with some data. So I can see by student what their course progress is. And I can see how well they're doing with the progress that they're making. So again, you can see these folks haven't done much of anything. So there's really not enough data to know how well they're doing. For these students, he might only be working through 2% of the course, but he's maybe getting to correctness, I'd say about 50% of the time, given that medium label. And these are all things that are just starting, by the way. A lot of this stuff that you're seeing is just laying the foundation for additional measures, additional tooltips that will tell you what these things mean, and other functionality. So with this release, we've really just laid the groundwork for a lot of the analytics so far that still has some work to do. We still have some work to do on them.
Aaron?
Yeah.
Right. So the student proficiency, is that ability to display that either as a graph, sort of like CTAT does, or as a number?
Not yet. We right now we don't have a complete model or
Okay.
algorithm underlying this right now. So this is just a way to say, students are getting to correctness or not, very vaguely at the moment, but we'll be refining that as we go on.
Because medium, does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. And we have visualizations we don't have at the moment either, which again will be a big part of all of this.
Yeah.
So next iteration of the platform and for the next release, we will definitely be refining these. Here's how we're showing the learning objectives, and the sub-learning objectives is what they're called at the moment. And again, a way to see by objective how students are doing in terms of their proficiency and on the objective as a whole and on the sub-objectives. Quiz scores is a way to see very quickly how students are doing on quizzes. If I scroll down, you'll see not all of the folks have been doing the quizzes. So for the folks that have been doing the quizzes, we can see across different activities, and these are the names of those activities and checkpoints, what their scores are. I haven't clicked one of these yet, so I'm not going to. Now is not the time for me to go fishing around, but I imagine it will take me right to that quiz and that attempt. I'll be able to see, you know what, I'll go ahead and click it. Maybe I'll open it in a new window so I don't lose anything, or a new tab rather. Let's see what that did. So student progress, so that takes me right to that person. And then I can dig in a little further. I'm sorry, I gotta move this around. I can dig in further to see what their attempts are. So I can see this person only has one attempt. I can go right in and see what they've done to get such a low score. And I'm gonna just check the chat. How is the completion percentage calculated? Right now, it's a calculation that I believe, I'm gonna tell you what I believe it is, because I remember the discussions. What they actually calculated, I haven't checked to see if that's what they implemented was what was discussed. But what was discussed is at the moment, it's based on page views. So if a student visits that page, they get some number of percentage points against their progress. But if there's activities on that page, it also takes into account which activities they've actually interacted with. So I can't give you the exact algorithm at the moment, but just know it's based on touches and activities completed. So we didn't want to make students feel like if they've worked through some of the materials that they get, that it's going to stay zero. Like in a course like this, it's huge, right? There's probably 400 pages in this course. So I know that we wanted to give them some feeling that they're progressing, even if they haven't done a whole lot. Again, that will probably still be up for discussion and refinement.
Can I ask a couple of questions on that?
Sure.
Get back. First of all, there's a long list of things, as you mentioned, there's 400. Can you go back to the previous page?
The quiz scores?
Yeah, so there's a large number of things. So does it scroll horizontally?
It scrolls horizontally.
Okay, so it goes right through the student name. Excellent. And then can you go back to where there's a score anywhere? Doesn't matter. It's a little close to, this is really nitpicky. It's a little close to the student name, the quiz name. It might be better if the scores were tabbed in just a little bit.
Okay.
Just so it's clear what they, where they belong, because they're or have lines to separate the columns by lines.
Yeah.
Just makes it easier to follow.
Yeah. And Richard, thank you for answering that.
Totally, Darren, but I just happen to have the quote from a JIRA ticket. So I
Yeah,
thought
that's perfect. When the instructor views the dashboard, we're running a query with today's first. Oh yeah, that's another thing I should have mentioned. It only considers first attempts as well. Thanks for that. So let me go to one of the cool things that we've added to this to our new platform is discussions. And we have the ability to have a discussion board for the entire course or even put them on specific pages. And I believe in this one, we have a mixture of both. As an instructor, I can just go to the course discussion and see the discussions that have been done so far. And I can interact with them there too and reply. So wanted to also show more discussion activity. So these are where all the discussions are on different pages. So it tells me what page the discussions are on and what's been said. So let me see. So some other things I want to dig into here are the settings for this particular section. So from this manage page, I'm managing the course section. I can preview as instructor. I can even go in and customize the curriculum, move things around, that sort of thing. I showed you the scheduling. Advanced scheduling and gating is something where I can actually, I don't believe we have any set up, but I can create a new gate. And what this will do is essentially create gates that are dependent on other things. So you can set up a situation where students can't get to the quiz in a module until they complete the pages before it, things like that. I also, the way you invite students to your course is you create these links and you just give students that link and they can get into the course. They'll either be prompted to to enroll, if that's what you have set it as, or, and I'll show you that in a second, edit section details. So here you can decide what the start and end dates are, whether registration is open and students can just, can enroll. Requires enrollment means, and because that's not checked, that means students could enter this course without having an account and just be able to work through it as a, like, what we call a guest student. I can imagine for, institutional courses at a university, you'd want to require enrollment. So then the student can't be anonymous throughout. And here's where you can manage, payment settings and the labeling of things, what you call things, that sort of thing. We have a lot more flexibility in how, and flexibility for instructors to be able to manage their section in different ways. Let's see, assessment settings. Here's a place where you can control your assessment settings, like what attempts, if there's time limits you want to put on these assessments, if you're going to allow late submission, late starts, scoring. Do you want to take the average? Do you want to take the best or the last? These are all assessment settings that we have in our legacy. But now they're pretty easy to apply, because what you can do is you can set them for one and copy all those settings to all the other assessments, and then even maybe come back to certain ones and give certain exceptions or not. So can we enroll based on student email address directly to send them invite for the course? No, I don't think that's the way you do it at the moment. I think right now you just have to give them the link. But I can imagine we would want to, again, these are all just laying the foundation for lots of other features and things that will be to come. This also tells us if we have any exceptions, and the way we manage student exceptions is through this tab up here. We can, right now I don't have any exceptions, but I can pick what assessment I want to give exceptions to, and give exceptions to certain students. Let's see. Survey. I didn't show this. I'm trying to think if there's an easy way to show this, but you saw as I was setting up that section, and in fact, you know what? I'm going to try and show this. I'm going to be a little daring here.
I can try to help if you need it, Erin.
Yeah, I think it's
I helped with testing on this one.
Oh, okay, cool. So this one's good. So I could probably be able to copy this. I'm going to try and enter as a student and enroll, just so that I can show the beginning of the student. So the student will see this upon enrollment. And what we've done is we've put a survey at the beginning of this course that we want all students to answer before they ever even enter. And let me just take a look at the chat. Yeah, post survey would be good as well. But what I'm trying to show here is that we could put a post survey in as well, just with the regular materials. This is like, we don't want students to be able to proceed without filling it out. So I got to start the survey, and I hope I'm not messing their demo on the other side, but I could go through and answer these questions. If I don't, and right now it's telling me that there's explorations in this course. Explorations are another thing I want to talk about a little bit in a minute. But essentially, if you have overarching advanced activities, this could take the place. This could be the using advanced authoring in Torus, or it could be CTAT tutors. We have stat tutors and statistics. These are ways that you can connect those activities to pages in the course, and I'll show that in a second. But this is giving me an overview of what that there is an exploration in this course, basically highlighting that you're going to be doing these more in-depth advanced activities as part of the course. And it's giving me a little preview to those. So now I'm a student in the course. And so I can see that you can see that it's really clean. I don't have all of those other options. I just have the ability to browse course content, all of the content, and go right to certain pages or units. I can see what's going on in the discussions or not. Okay, that doesn't seem to be, I can see what my assignments are or not.
It won't let you move forward until you finish the survey.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. I forgot about, I did know that. Thank you. So in this case, the survey is mandatory. So yeah, you're right. It won't let me move forward. We should probably.
And it's more than 5 minutes.
So now that I submitted the survey, I can get to see any kind of discussions that are going on. I can go to my assignments and it's going to give me my due dates based on that schedule that the instructor set up. And I can go and see what I've done. I can go to the course content. I can see all the activities in that in this quiz, all of the different, it says quiz covers. This is all new to me, by the way, guys, so forgive me. But this is pretty cool and I can go right to it from here. And then the explorations. So explorations, these are the 3 explorations that exist. And again, these are overarching immersive activities that are tied to pages essentially in the course. So they can be dealing with content, synthesizing outcomes from across pages or units. Yes, Michael, a message would be good. Again, we're still working through a lot of stuff here. So I wanted to also possibly go to, I'm not going to open up an exploration, but I do want to show that I wish I knew of a place where a exploration exists. I might have to just page through some content here to show this. Basically, when there's an exploration associated with a page, and you do that as an author, the explorations tell you, there's a bar at the top that tells you if there's exploration activities. And by the way, we'll have the ability to also change the name of this. They're called explorations in this particular course, but I did in a conversation with Norm yesterday, he said that what we'll do is have the ability to change the name of those, just like units and modules. You might want to call them labs, or you might want to call them something else. So if I get to a page that has an exploration activity, I think it gives me a little indication, a little indicator. Right now I'm just I just want to get to the next page until I see that there is an exploration. Pretty sure it will open up and tell me. I should know where there is one, and I apologize for not having that ahead of time. Does anyone on the call happen to know where there might be an exploration activity in the course?
I've only gone through them through the explorations rail on the left.
Let's just see. I'm not going to open one of
I
those.
don't know where they are, but you could check if they go with the things that have their name. So like, since this one is about spectroscopy, is there something in the course about spectroscopy and maybe it's there?
Yeah, I don't know. And it's a big course, so.
Because there were activities about spectroscopy earlier.
Right. I think I might just not be able to show that piece of it. All I'm really trying to demonstrate is that this will show you when you have exploration activities associated with pages. And as you can imagine, in our authoring platform, you have the ability to tag pages with these exploration activities so that controls when they're showed up here. So I just wanted to really show that. Not a big deal. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I went through all that stuff really quickly. Yeah, questions. Jim, you have a hand raised?
Yeah, so I'm curious, for the learning objectives or knowledge components tagged to items, is there a field to put a unique global identifier to link that human readable description to say a reference in the Open Competency Network or Credential Engine or one of those repositories?
No, but that's a really good idea. And so actually I'm going to write that down to add that as a feature.
Great.
So yeah, field to tie outcomes to standards. Yeah, I can imagine that would be very, very helpful, particularly in not just higher ed, but K-12 settings. Okay, now where do I want to go next? I got lost here. Any other questions or ideas? Let's know how graded assessments look to students after they've done a first attempt. Oh, let's try that. Oh, I opened an exploration. I did not want to do that. Not because they're not done or anything. I just don't know what I'm getting myself into when I do that. Essentially,
I can help you, Aaron, if you want to just
I just
try
want.
it.
I don't.
Okay.
So now this is one of the things I wanted to show as an instructor. Once students are in there working, I have this little up next. It tells me what students should be working on, how many students have completed this. Actually, is this the student view? Apologies for me not knowing that, but I believe this
It
is
is.
actually the student view. So this,
Yeah, this is the preview.
yeah, so student has the ability to see what's up next, what their progress is. So we're giving them some of the same metrics to help them guide what's going on. And then you can also see this is new. This is new to me, where it tells me how many other students have completed this assignment already. But as a student, I wanted to go into an assignment, a quiz. Checkpoint, there we go. That's what I wanted to get into. So I'm going to do very poorly on this and probably I'm not even going to do open-ended stuff because I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to do a couple activities here and then go to the end. So to a student, this is what it looks like to a student after submitting an attempt, tells me what my score was, and it's giving me feedback. Whatever feedback is actually built in at the moment. So Natalie, I don't know if that answers your question. I could probably even go back to, let me make sure I remember what this is. Atoms and molecules checkpoint.
This is great, Erin. Yeah, we just have run into that while authoring where we haven't seen how that looks on the published side yet. And we wanted to make sure that after we spent all the time giving this really key feedback so that they could do multiple attempts, that they would indeed see that feedback. So that's really helpful. Thank you.
Welcome. And you can tell me, and you can see that it's telling me, I've already opened this essentially here. And I bet, let's see what else. Any other questions? Anyone else have any questions or things that they want to see in particular? Or feedback, of course. Well, if not yet, I'm going to show a video. Thanks, Michael. It does look great. I really think that they've worked hard, and I did want to show one other thing that Norm was pretty excited about. And let me see if I have it open, because I did just restart my computer. I don't know if you guys are seeing this slide or are you still seeing my other screen? You're seeing the slide?
Yes, you see a
Okay.
slide.
Something that Norm was really excited about was to show how Torus has been developing over time. And just what this shows is that, you know, this is basically the size of the code base and how much work. I mean, I don't know if you guys all know, but we have a very small software development team. And so we've augmented that with lots of other folks who've been, you know, digging in, using our open source code to also help with development. And so this is a picture of the size of the code base over time. And then this shows how much has been contributed by the community, which is a decent amount. So I know that that was something folks are excited about. We have a lot of input into the development of this platform, and we really are taking in all of the feedback and requirements from as many of you who want to give them to really build this out in a community-based way. So I think with that, I'm going to show you a video that helps give you an idea of where we might be going and what kind of and it's very flashy, just so you know, like the video itself, it's produced pretty nicely. And I hope the music was a little loud when I played it before, but you guys are seeing this YouTube video screen? Okay.
Science courseware should feel easy. Not because science is simple, but because great courseware is inspiring.
Helps you find meaning and motivation. Like taking you on a journey from the abstract to the real world.
Great science courseware supports you when you're struggling. It guides you when you're lost. It connects you with others who can help. Your professor,
Your friend,
fellow students.
even AIs.
Great science courseware is engaging. It feels easy because it's designed to understand.
Great science courseware is consistent. No matter who you are or where you started. It supports you on your journey. Teaching great science courseware should be easy because when technologies are designed by or with teachers, it's easy to get started.
It's easy to support students.
If we have more time to focus on what matters most.
Great science courseware should it empowers every line to reach their full potential.
So that's where that's where we're headed. We've had some folks working on UX, UI in the background, and this was their what their approach is to the platform and where we're headed, essentially with a new look and feel. I don't know how much of that's going to be implemented for the next release, but it'll be, of course, again, like everything, we're incrementally working to layer on new features, new designs all the time. So we're really excited about where this is going and how it's going to help support students and instructors and institutions as a whole. So very excited about all this. Okay, I have something, post link. Oh yeah, I'll give you the link. Good idea. There's the link to the video, so you guys can watch it at will and check it out, because it was really quick. But some of the features that I know we'll be adding is more something that wasn't shown in the video are dashboards, of course, and visualizations of the data. We want to be very careful with those to make sure that we're highlighting what's important to both students and instructors, in a way that it's actually usable. Many of you might already know that, we've had a learning dashboard in place for a long time, and I'm still finding instructors that have used our courses for years and never even went to the dashboard. So we want to make sure that what we're designing is something that's really useful. So we're going to do lots of user testing on the dashboards and the algorithms that power that data underneath. The other thing that we'll be adding that's pretty exciting that you might have seen a little bit of if you were paying attention in the video is annotation, group annotation, and the ability for students to highlight text in the course itself and use that as a way to start a discussion post or to ask their instructor more about things very specifically. And you can imagine the data that we collect from that will also help with the instructors to understand where students are struggling, but also help designers know where to add more scaffolding as well. Oh, thanks, Gautam. I gave the wrong did I give the wrong video link? Sorry about that. So yeah, check that out. That's a lot of cool things that are coming. So anyone have any other questions or feedback or ideas they want to share? Can you see yourselves using this?
It's great to see the progress, Erin.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, it really is. It's fast. It's very fast progress for as small of a team as we have. We've been very fortunate working in collaboration with Arizona State University, and the Gates Foundation has provided lots of cool resources as well in terms of there's lots of high production value videos in Real Chem that were produced by Outlier. And we've had many people, like I said before, contributing in code base. So I feel very fortunate. Yeah, I am too, Natalie. I'm really looking forward. We have a handful of folks using Torus in the fall. We haven't, as you know, migrated all of our courses over yet. We've been focused heavily on chemistry in particular for this Gates Foundation project, but it's gotten us really far for other courses as well. The other thing that I didn't point out or didn't really that you might not have noticed is, we're really building up a robust support system as well. So if you use the help button that's there now, it'll do the same thing Legacy does. It'll contextualize, where you are and what you're running, what system you're running on, so that information can be fed to the help desk to help them diagnose issues and get back to you right away. Forgot where else I was going with that. Lots of little nitty gritty things that are going to help us support you better, as well as you hopefully not needing as much support because everything will be very clear and intuitive to use.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. So that's all I had to show you today. Really happy to see you all here and interested. And I was also talking about the pilot. So Natalie, you're using it a little bit. We have about 10 instructors as part of the Gates pilot using it in the fall, with just a handful of other folks. The teams will be ramping up migration efforts now that we have this big release out. We'll be really turning our attention to try and migrate more courses more quickly. So we've been working on a process in the background and making a lot of progress on migration. Chemistry kind of afforded us the ability to create a lot of features that would be needed and used by other courses that come after it. So that's why we've really focused on chemistry and getting that in place. And as well as some of the language courses as well. Natalie's been a huge help and collaborator, and of course driving the migration of those courses really, because there's a lot of work involved, as you can imagine, when you migrate those courses. Lots of reviewing and finding little things and making sure that they're fixed. The process is essentially, there's things that we can fix in the tools that actually migrate the courses. So a lot of times we want to find all the errors that a tool could, we could just re-ingest and they'd be fixed, versus those things that you want to wait until it's already ingested to continue forward development on. So it's a process that we're still getting, that we're still refining as well, so that we can make it the most efficient and start really migrating mass amounts of courses in the next year. Norm would like us to be off legacy, last year. So we'll be moving full speed ahead on migration, probably starting, this month. Any questions about migration or any concerns anybody has about that?
I guess skills, where
Yeah, skills. We'll be really taking a look at our model, our skills model, and making sure that we can get this data into Data Shop. We've already tested it out. It just needs some refinements for how things are tagged and how it looks in Data Shop, or even in the raw data itself. And you can imagine down the line having many more tightly integrated tools. In fact, we have an idea of pulling in learning curve visualizations, being able to use Data Shop to generate those and pull them right in to where instructors can see them. Oh yeah, good question, Jonathan. So right now, I believe everything is in our GitHub repository. And if you give me a second, I can get that link for you. There is a lightweight, I believe. I don't know how robust it is at the moment, so I'll call it lightweight. SDK for activity development. So folks have ideas for cool activities that they want to build and integrate with Torus. There is an SDK out there. Let's see, what other aspects of Torus? I thought of one other thing I wanted to mention, and now I forgot. GitHub repository. And by the way, that link to GitHub, if you have features that you want to see put in place, you can go ahead and go in there. In fact, I encourage you all, as you think of things that you'd like to add, using that GitHub repository, and I'll show you real quick. You can just, I think it's open for everyone to submit it. You go to issues, and you can select new issue, and it'll give you the option of a bug report or a feature request. So feel free to put in feature requests. We do triage, we read them all. We go through them once a week, once a week now, and talk through them and slate them for when we might be able to get to working on them. That was what I wanted to tell you. Upcoming. Give me a second. I will revisit the list of things that we right now have generally slated for the next few releases. So give me a second here. I'll show that screen. We haven't refined these. We haven't dug in and refined these yet, but this is what was planned. This was well before the 2.4 release. Right now we're on 2.4. Prior to 2.4, when we were still planning 2.3, this is what we had said we would be doing for 2.5 and 2.6. As you can imagine, this list has grown significantly since then. So we'll be spending the next couple weeks to figure out what really will be in the next two releases, given what we didn't accomplish from the previous release, things that have been added since then in terms of feature requests, But right now we really want to get a good certificate infrastructure in place so that we can deliver certificates based on completion or even grades. Homework system. This is something that is part of the Gates grant as well, where what folks want is this ability to have additional practice for students who need it, tagged to the learning objectives in a way that we can just give students, serve them practice in a very lightweight manner. As you can imagine, I can't think of the name of any homework systems at the moment off the top of my head, but I'm sure you all know of ones that are just like there to just give practice until the students no longer need it. And hopefully we can build that in a way that is both instructor driven, but also driven by how well the students are doing on particular outcomes. Expanded dashboards, I've already told you about. Adaptive experiments. So for those of you who may not know, over the last year, we've Norm and a team of folks won the X Prize for integrating with Upgrade, which is an A/B testing suite tool out of Carnegie Learning. And so that's integration is in the works right now. I think they've been able to do it in a lightweight way, but we're going to really integrate it so that anyone, whether it be an instructor or an author or just a researcher, can use A/B testing in combination with Torus. We'll be we've kind of, I don't want to say neglected, we haven't neglected the authoring tool, but as you can imagine, we've been building out a lot of features for student facing, instructor facing delivery of courses. We'll be coming back to the authoring interface to make sure we give that kind of a facelift as well, and add tools. We're going to be working on just performance, the speed of the system, the ability for it to work smoothly. And I'm not sure what multi-dimensional evaluation is, but it sounds cool. So add last minute items. Thanks, Calvin. So I think if you have no other questions or ideas or comments and feedback, I'm going to say this is a great meeting, and it was really exciting for me to show off a lot of cool stuff, and just looking forward to getting you all into our new system and using it. And again, if you have ideas, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or add them to the GitHub issues list. So with that, happy Friday, everyone, and have a great weekend. And I'll see you at the next community meeting, if not before then.
Right, you too. Thanks, Erin.
Thanks.